Alright guys, I don't want to be that guy that just like hates on technology, but I was supposed to record this over an hour ago. I have been for the last hour and a half working out why things aren't working. I know that I can do what I can do because of technology, but at the same time, I really hate technology. But anyway, guys, we are here to record at Beyond the Wall. Before we get started, I just want to say one really important thing, so please don't skip if you're interested. I am going to be designing a t-shirt that I will be wearing, probably quite a lot, that I may even put up as like an exclusive on my shop, which is about to go live, guys. I just need to test a sample and then we'll have officially have a shop going, so it should be fantastic. Obviously with all the shirts that I don't think there's any actually up right now. I should be wearing one, really. All the shirts that I've designed, like I want to like be able to offer them to you guys. Sadly, it's not cheap. I've basically gone and searched up the most common merch avenue that YouTubers use, and then I've also gone for the one that's easiest for the US, because I know the US is the biggest demographic I've got. That means that for me it's more expensive, but whatever, who cares? For people around this area it's more expensive. I didn't really have another solution. The only thing I will say is if people are like from where, like near where I'm from, I may be able to order them like in more of like a bulk and then send them out myself. Maybe cheaper that way for people located like New Zealand, maybe Australia, but like beyond that it'll be cheapest for you to order through the website. Anyway, t-shirt. So every single name, unless for whatever reason you've been blocked or banned, which if you have been you'll know why, every single name is going to go on that shirt. I'm trying to think of the best time to do it. Let's just say the next couple days. So from when you see this, I will be, at some point in the next couple days, I will be screenshotting every single name of members current. There's no way I can find every member in history. So it is of current. And anyone that's not a member, say you can't even afford being a member or whatever, go to the community tab, because I do have an opportunity. I don't know how many, but I'm going to select probably in the range of like 10 or 20, maybe even 30 at a push, non-members' names. People that don't pay for it, can't pay for it. And there's a special opportunity to have your name on that with a cross through it. Now, you can probably see where I'm going here. If you guys remember, we have one at Alexandria, I believe. Like, the best example of it I can think of is from Maze Runner. You know how they've got that wall which they like carve people's names into, and then people that are gone or die get a little line through their name. You know, like I'm just trying to make it a little bit more accessible. So we do have some volunteers there. Now, it will be a luck of the draw. Unfortunately, I can't do everyone's name because, say, all 5,000 subscribers put their names down. That's just not going to work. I believe there's currently like 130 members or something, so currently that's quite a lot, but I'll do front and back, I believe, of the t-shirt depending on how it looks, and over the next week or so I'll be designing it. So guys, like I said, become a member, or if you can't or don't want to, go to that community tab that I've just put up and comment down below in there that you would volunteer as a cross name. If you want. You don't have to, guys. It's obviously not mandatory, but I just thought I would offer it to everybody. But anyway, this is going to be a long Beyond the Wall, so let's cut the crap and actually start talking. As I said in the last video, guys, I've got a little list of cues for myself to like, these are the things that I know I need to talk about. We'll get to those last. We'll start with your guys' questions. Many people claim that Siddiq's death makes Carl's death pointless. I don't think so, but anyway, I'll read the rest of the question. I personally disagree. Okay, yeah, me too. But what do you think? Oh, no, but what do you think? So, Daniel, can you read? Does Siddiq dying really make Carl's death worthless? No. Like, I don't even know why people would think that. Okay, I get that Carl died to save him, but it's not about Siddiq per se, or just Siddiq. Yeah, okay, Carl saving him, hell yeah, he managed to save a doctor. Like, that has been so beneficial for us, I get that. But, like, are people missing the entire point behind what saving Siddiq meant? It was the message. It didn't really... Obviously, it's fantastic that we saved Siddiq, but it's not really got as much to do with Siddiq as I think people are thinking it does. It's about what it meant in terms of Carl's message to his father and the vision of what's forward, you know, passing that on. And it hurts that, you know, the person that Carl saved is now gone. Like, it does feel like a piece of history has been taken from us now. Like, it's is there that there's only really a couple connections left to Carl. But no, I don't know why people would even remotely think that, not gonna lie. Carl's death meant so much more than just saving a person. If Carl didn't die, do we think that Rick would be in the place he was? I don't think so. I think he'd still be a bit lost, you know. Like, I think Carl's death was so, like, impactful. Not saying that I'm glad he died. Of course I'm not saying that. Like, if anything, I'd rather he was still here. Going forward, his death literally painted a picture of a utopic future, a vision of what we should aspire to be. That's what his death means. You know, he was carrying that mantle of finding that vision. Some people might then argue, oh, well, didn't Siddiq technically take that mantle? I don't really think Siddiq did. I think Rick did. Obviously, Rick not being around, you know, we start to see whether are people following the vision? Are people doing that? Michonne's carrying it. So Carl's death hasn't just passed that vision on to one person. It has spread. It's like a message, you know, like it's a story in time now. It doesn't matter what happens after that. There's a story in time. It's what Carl Grimes was fighting for. His notes, his messages, everything. You know what? I do have some sympathy for people that say that, because obviously in the moment you're thinking, everyone, me included, probably thought that Carl saving Siddiq almost meant that, like, we would see Siddiq to the end of the show. There would always be that piece of Carl, you know, like, Carl saved Siddiq, and then Siddiq would become instrumental to everything. I think maybe, so I can understand where people are coming from. It felt like a kick in the gut, you know, like, oh my gosh, like, they've just killed the person that Carl literally sacrificed himself to save. I don't know, I don't think it's so much, I'm not trying to diss Siddiq here, but I don't think Carl just sacrificed himself to save Siddiq. Yeah, obviously he did. He sacrificed himself to save a person he didn't know. That, of course he sacrificed himself to save Siddiq, but it was more than just a sacrifice for Siddiq. It was a sacrifice and a risk he was willing to take for what it meant going forward. But I just think people obviously will be hurt in the moment. I was goddamn hurt in the moment. And you know what? To be bluntly honest with you, when it immediately happened, I did think to myself, like, when I was like, no way, like, I didn't really believe it, there was a part of my brain that went, but Carl saved him. There's no way he dies now, right? What the hell? That's ridiculous. But, so, I can understand where they're coming from, but it's just, that's just the shock factor of it, you know? Like, no one expected it, because everyone thought that Carl's sacrifice would be seen to the end of the show, because that's his legacy. But I think people are just confused with Siddiq being Carl's legacy and the message and the vision being Carl's legacy. That's what I think people are confusing. Siddiq has been huge. It's not like he's been around for a second, you know, like, he's been around. Obviously, I think the one downfall the show has had, the jump between Rick disappearing and now, it's all been fast forwarded. I think they could probably have fit in even another season. Judith just aged. That jump there, massive. That's a huge jump. I think if they had shown us a season in between there, Siddiq would have felt like he was around for longer, and then this would have felt like Carl's sacrifice would feel more worth it. I think that's what people are trying to say, is it worth it? But if you really dig into the years and the time and how many people he saved and just really read into that, it's been a long time. It's been a lot longer than it feels. Like, it feels like since Rick's gone, it literally feels like a blur. Like, it's been years. But it still feels like yesterday since he was gone. Like, I know it's been a while, but I don't feel like I've been waiting for him for a long time. I feel like he's right around the corner, and I never really felt like, I don't know how to describe it. Okay, that's a sign. Move on. Do you think Michonne can help this new guy and find weapons to destroy Alpha's horde? Or is he lying? Or hell, maybe is he a whisperer? I will say this. I highly doubt he's a whisperer. At first, there was a part of me that was like, could he be? But then, like, he's actively, like, they're on a boat right now out to the middle of nowhere, the Wop Wops. Like, that ain't gonna be no Whisper territory. So I feel like my theory that of he could be a Whisperer has really taken a back seat. I don't really think I'm backing that anymore. I will say there are still some confusing things about his arrival, like why was he alone? Why would you travel alone for supplies? Like how big is do you even have a group? You know what, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes where he's going and his group, he doesn't even really have a group. Like he was saying that to protect his family. I was a little bit like, why is he alone? Like, where's the boat that he came on originally? All this stuff, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, he's going to collect supplies for his family, I get that, but why the frick is he alone? He hasn't mentioned someone dying. So they're out on a boat now, heading this way. I don't want to be mean, but I think he's actually using Michonne to get back to his family. I think he does have a family. I think he doesn't have a big group. I don't think his place that he's got is massively fortified. And if it is, I don't think there's a lot of people there. And so maybe we can help each other. I think he needs our help a lot more than we know. That's my theory. I don't think he's a Whisperer, but I think he needs our help and he's kind of hiding it because maybe he thinks, oh, if I just say my family's in trouble, there's 4 of us, we're all the way in the wop-wops over here, like I need help getting here, or like I need this, I need that. Like, does that make any sense? Like, is he actually gonna, like, I don't know, would he go to Michonne and would he say that, or would he say, no, we've got a big group, I need help? I think there probably are weapons, but I've got a feeling they're going to be decommissioned. I've got a feeling they're not going to be particularly in high use at the moment. I think when we arrive, a lot's going to be sort of explained to us, and it's going to be a little bit of like, oh well. But I think the way to answer this question, on the balance of things, I've got a more good feeling than a bad feeling. But having had what just happened to us, I feel like if that hadn't happened now, I'd have a very good feeling. Like, it's so like my brain is not trusting anything. As you guys would have seen, the last reaction was torment for me. I think Michonne can help this guy. I do think she can help him, but I think she's helping him. Yeah, I think she can help more than he can help. I feel sad saying that, but we should still help, right? Like, I feel like I should still help, but there's just so much going on. The only other thing I thought was like, is this place potentially somewhere we could go? But the fact that they're having to come inland for supplies, that's another thing that for me is a little bit worrying. It's like, why would you, so you're out there, okay, you're out on this little island or whatever it is. You need to come inland. You've come alone, first red flag. The fact that you need to come inland for supplies it leads me to believe it's not exactly the most supply-enriched area. Do they have anything to offer? That, I don't even know. It said it's an old naval base. Cool. Okay. Then I thought, has this got something to do with Rick? Could this have something to do with the helicopters? Then there was a little part of me that thought, could this guy be similar to what Jadis was? Someone collecting A's and B's. That's not a theory that I'm disregarding. It potentially could be. There's so many possibilities of what this could connect to, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I think she can help him, but I think there's more to the story. Yes, I think there will be weapons there, but whether they're to give them up, I don't think so. Because why would they give them up? That's their protection. Why would he give them over? She's going alone too, so like, for all we know, she could arrive, there's a bunch of people there, boom, deal's off. And it's not exactly like they can't protect themselves from us. They're on a goddamn island. So yeah, there is a part of me that thinks there is an element of lies to his story. That's my gut feeling, but I do think he will be generally good. Maybe these are the people that Eugene was talking to too. That we've got all these little loose ends that we still need to tie up. So anyway, next question. Do you think Negan will be Alpha's downfall? So far it seems he's the only piece of her entire puzzle she didn't account for on her master plan. All this mission failed, perhaps because of Beta. There is a gut feeling like, how do I describe this? I think Negan's gone in there with the intention of overthrowing this little plan. I think once upon a time, Negan was infiltrated by Dwight. I think Negan will be using a bit of his experience with what happened to him in order to go after Alpha. But I keep saying this. Alpha keeps reminding me how powerful she is. It wouldn't shock me even the slightest if we've all got this big plan going forward, but she's just using Negan. She already knows he's not going to be fit, or she already knows this, or she already knows that. I've got a feeling she's a very good judgment of character. She knows how to judge people. I think she will be milking everything out of Negan she possibly can, but she won't let him get close to derailing a plan. That's my theory. No, I don't think Negan will be Alpha's downfall. I think he'll have a part to play in her downfall, but I don't think this will go as smoothly as he's hoping. My only hope is that he gets out of there before things go a bit sour. But it's risky. This is a risky... If my theory's right and she already kind of knows, this is a risky move from Alpha because she's invited someone into her inner circle. Yeah, because realistically, what is Negan's plan? That's something I've been struggling with. Is it just to get in, get close, and cause enough of a disruption within to the point where Alpha doesn't really have a following? Because I've always said that I think her downfall will be people won't follow her. Right? That's why there's such a dangerous message of things could be better in a different way, or there's a world that we could live that's better. Because if that spreads far enough, what does Alpha have if she doesn't have followers? Like she's got a horde. I guess that's her nuclear bomb, right? If all goes to south, she's got a horde. She's got enough loyal people to just send that on its way and then start over. She doesn't... Maybe that's the plan. Maybe her herd is her greatest asset. Because if things all do go to south, she has enough loyal people to basically wipe out those that question her. Since seeing Dante and how long he could be in our group, and how still remains loyal despite seeing the way we live, we have to assume there are more people like Dante, right? That can't be swayed. So Alpha will always have access to that horde. So maybe the best thing we can do is to destroy the horde. Maybe without the horde, then we start thinking, no horde, no following, what now? I think she will have accounted for every possible piece of the puzzle. As I've said this to you guys, I don't even think Gamma is someone Alpha trusts. You know what? I don't think Alpha trusts anyone bar Beta. I genuinely feel like she uses and manipulates and squeezes people. Right? She squeezes every ounce out of them. She doesn't need their trust. She doesn't need to trust them. She uses them, knowing that eventually they will be discarded. Because at the end of the day, walkers, she probably, you know what? She trusts walkers more than any of her followers. I don't think she trusts Gamma. I think she's using Gamma to get close to Eren. I don't think she trusts Negan. I think she will be using Negan to get close to Alexandria, to learn about the insides and to get to Lydia. Because you can't just send the herd in. The only thing I will say, why wouldn't she just get Dante to take Lydia out? Maybe the end goal isn't to just take Lydia, because she knows if she just takes Lydia, Lydia's not going to voluntarily stay. Maybe the plan is to paint the most negative picture of us as possible, so she voluntarily comes back. Hence what's just happened. The only person I think she remotely trusts is Beta, but even then, right from the start, she was using him. I think her downfall will be her daughter, by the way. I just think she's so on guard. She's constantly got her guard up, right? She's so manipulative, so meticulous, all these things. The only thing I can imagine that will get her to bring that guard down is Lydia. Beta, I think she still uses. Negan she uses. Gamma she uses. I don't think around any of those people her guard is down. It's always up. She's ready. She's prepared. She's fucking smart. So yeah, Lydia. That's another reason why I feel like Carol using Lydia the way she has, and Lydia even said, you're just like her, is so negative going forward, because I don't want to use Lydia, but at the same time I think Lydia wants the same thing we do, right? She wants us to live peacefully. She doesn't want this war. She doesn't want, I don't think she wants us to go and kill all these people. So I think just like, I'm going to compare it to Carl now. Just like Carl, someone like Lydia, she even said just show them the way we live. Like that she wants the most peaceful way forward. And now she's gone. We have used and abused that, and we're on our last straw almost. Oh, here we go. There's another question. Do you think we can trust Gamma, or is she too brainwashed by Alpha? Maybe she's not brainwashed, but I think she fears Alpha. Alpha doesn't trust Gamma, or she knows Gamma enough now. She always has. I think the only reason she put her in the position she is now to give her a false sense of trust. I think she knew from way back, even when the thing with her sister happened, she knew that she couldn't trust, or she was flaky. She gave her the position to make her feel like she's a part of the inner circle. She's using her, she's squeezing her, she's taking every drip and ounce of everything she needs until the point where she doesn't need her anymore. That's just my theory. I think there will be a point where we feel like we can trust Gamma, but the minute that happens, Gamma will be killed. Alpha will be watching Gamma very, very carefully, and the minute she feels like we are getting more out of Gamma than she is, this is the question. I've already read this question. This is a very, very good question. Because you know what? My first answer has shocked me. How do you feel about Gabe stabbing Dante? And how do you think the old Gabriel that was cowering on a rock would feel? What a question, brother. If I could gift memberships, I would gift one purely for that question. This got me thinking so goddamn hard. So how do I feel about Gabe stabbing Dante? You know what, guys? You know what? Very first thought was, thank fuck. Okay, we don't have to think about what to do. We don't have to worry about a public trial. We don't have to think about all this stuff. He has betrayed, he has used us, he has manipulated us, and he has killed one of our own. Get rid of him. Very dark, okay. Oh, damn, very morbid. Dale's looking down like, right now on me. So that was my first thought. And then instantly after that, guys, my brain was flooded with feel for Gabriel. I felt bad for current Gabriel because I know what that means. When he was talking about second chances, he was talking about himself. And now he's doing what he does, which goes completely against everything he's believed in. He even said it himself, my family will never be the same, and I think he will never be the same. You know, like that has stripped him back to raw emotion. So how do I feel about it? I feel in pain for what that means for Gabriel. Am I glad that Dante is gone? You know what? Yes. I'm not even going to bother beating around the bush here. Yes. Okay. What he did to Siddiq made me so goddamn angry. What he did coming into the family, treating us the way we treated him the way we did. We invited him in with open arms, and he does that ultimate betrayal. There's no second chances there for me. Even if you send him back out, I don't even know if you can do that. Like, in that scenario, can you just send him back out? He knows everything about the inside. So what's the plan? Imprison him indefinitely? Okay, that's the only other option I could imagine. I don't even know if we could do that, because can we trust everyone within our walls now? Can we trust everyone inside? Can we trust that he won't get out like Negan did? By the way, we still didn't even know who let Negan out. Oh, that reminds me. There was a little part of me that thought maybe Aaron did, because Negan saved Aaron, and then Aaron... But then he was going against it in the although, unless he intentionally went against, in that committee meeting, he was going against the idea. He was saying Negan can always be who he was. He knew that he couldn't kill Negan because of Negan saving his life, but at the same time, he still believes that Negan needs to go. Maybe that's why he did it. But anyway, that was just another sidetrack. We know Alpha now knows ways in. She knows how to trick us, manipulate us, break down our walls metaphorically. She pulled our guard down. She pulled our guard down. How crazy is that? Have we ever met a villain that's been able to do that? And on the spot, I felt there was no other option. What are you going to do? He wanted a public trial. Did you see him? But it was manipulating us even in the cage. I know younger me would hate it. I know younger me would be fuming with myself, but I don't. I think I would have killed him. Oh my days. Like, it's almost like as soon as I knew that he was never there for the reasons I thought he was there, like, he was no longer family. And the only thing I care about right now is family. So, what am I going to do to protect my family? Get rid of the problem. And how do you think Gabriel, that was cowering on a rock, would feel? This is the part of the question which I really liked. There is a little part of me that thinks Gabriel would be proud. Old Gabriel would be proud of who he'd become. If younger Gabriel could look forward and go, this Gabriel it's giving me goosebumps thinking about it. He stood up. He's a part of a committee. He has saved countless of lives. He has used his morals to direct this place in a positive direction, and he has done it fabulously. And the minute there is a threat to this place, to the people he cares about, he didn't cower, he didn't run off, he took it into his own hands. And as much as I think that will, inside it might even break him, I think weirdly, I feel like younger Gabriel would look at himself and go, you fucking did what you had to do. Even someone like yourself put aside the morals of the situation. You pulled up your guard, got on your stance, and you protected your family. I'd be proud of that. I'm proud of that. I know what that means. I get it. The psychological effects of doing something like that for someone like Gabriel is crazy. But I love him for protecting his family. Why do you think the Whisperers haven't just moved on from the area of the communities? It seemed that they used to wander around everywhere and didn't have a set location. Do you think it has something to do with Lydia being there? Yes, I think a very big chunk of what they're doing has got to do with Lydia. Like, can they just leave Lydia? I think I've always sort of said this, right? The herd will start realizing that the best interests of the herd are not the best interests of Alpha, and it will start to cause discontent, as we've seen, and the herd will slowly start to disband. You know what? This is kind of reminding me a bit of the governor and the governor's group and how all of that sort of went. Why do I think they haven't moved from the area of the communities? It has to be to do with Lydia. Like, yeah, I get it, they move around and all this sort of stuff, but I think Alpha needs to know that we're being sort of dangled on a string. She wants to feel in control. She needs to feel in control of us in order to know that her daughter's protected. That sounds weird. It sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? But if she's around and she knows what we're doing and she knows where we are and she's got us sort of in our little square, we can be observed. Her daughter can be protected from a distance. Now, that sounds weird. Like, why am I associating words of protection and family with Alpha? Because why does she do it? Admittedly, it's a toxic and abusive as fuck relationship, but she does it for Lydia. It's not an excuse, but it's a reason. If she can keep us in our little observation deck, and she can sit on her little chair and make sure things are running smooth enough so that Lydia can live, she'll allow it. I think she sort of got to a point where she thought, I can't protect Lydia out here anymore. Her mind isn't as malleable as I need it to be. So what does she do? She's got a lead on Lydia, right? Just imagine it like a lead. She's got a lead on Lydia. Tight. Okay, she's holding that lead tight. Lydia starts tugging away. She doesn't want to be this close. You know, she's got different ways of thinking. She had Henry, she had all this. She got shown a new way. Now, if you continue to hold that leash so goddamn tight, it's gonna snap. Then you got no control. So what does Alpha do? Very smartly, she gives a little bit of slack. Lydia's off roaming around her little areas. She's still watching. Yeah, she might not be right by her side, but she's got hold of it, the situation. Like, it's like she's got one hand on the wheel, okay? Before she had two, now she's got one hand on the wheel. A little bit more discontent, a little bit more slack, but she's always got one hand on the wheel. Her being with our group, her literally controlling and putting our group in a box means she can metaphorically, or indirectly is the right word, indirectly control and observe Lydia. That is why. Why would Maggie still not have come back after Genus, Enid, and Tara died? Oh my goddamn days. You know what? I've been asking myself the same question. They were super close. So to me, that's insane. That she didn't even come back to see at least them be buried. Plus she left them in charge of Hilltop, so that leaves them with no real leader, etc. I don't think Maggie knows. I don't think Maggie knows the full extent of what's going on. Either, I had two theories with Maggie, right? Either she doesn't know, or she knows and she can't come back. There was a little part of me that theorized that Maggie is with Rick right now. Just a little bit. There's a little bit of goosebumps. I was like, ooh, like maybe some of the people that we're missing are all in one place. Maybe they have all ended up in the same shit show. In which case, she doesn't know what's going on, and she can't get back. Okay, we need to think like that. She would come back. We know Maggie. So it's not even a matter of why is she not coming back. There is no reason that she wouldn't unless she couldn't. So, does that mean she's in danger? Potentially. Or she's in a group that's like I said with Rick, very, very strict communication rules. Maybe they've got a radio, maybe it's on lockdown to protect their little bubble, practices that are immoral, that people don't agree with. It'll essentially feel like a prison, but it's in order to protect I think it's like an island, right? Maybe it's where Michonne's going right now. Very strict rules about who can talk to who can come, who can go. There's helicopters. That seems to be the only way. I imagine would be the only way in or out, which means to get out, you got to get a goddamn helicopter. Most people don't know how to fly one for a start. Oh. You know how we were just talking about this new guy, right? This new dude. What's his? I can't remember his name. I swear it starts with an L or something. My biggest question about him when he arrived is, where's his boat? If he came here from an island, where's his boat? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Where's his boat? I feel like either you guys are looking at me like, oh my god, this guy's onto it, or you guys are looking at me like, what is this mug talking about? There's a little bit of it like, what if he came from helicopter? What if he didn't come by goddamn boat? What if the only way he got out of where he was in a similar way, very similar way to Jadis? In which case, to get back, you're gonna need a goddamn boat. I'm writing this down. Let me just write this down so I can remember this. For all I know, he could have been brought out here to find groups in distress, and I don't know. We'll follow that up in another Beyond the Wall. It's a bit early to be thinking about that. But why do I think Maggie has to not come back? I think she can't. And as I said, I do not trust that lady. For all I know, that little book Key to the Future thing that she gave us wasn't so much about us developing our communities to a point where we could survive. Maybe it was about equipping human beings with skills they need. So getting them trained up, almost like apprenticeship. Here we go, take my book. You become a carpenter, and then I'm going to yoink you from existence and take you to this naval base. Alrighty, here's another very good question, by the way. This is the last question, but I think we have some more things we will talk about. We've been talking for a while. I want to know where you sit nowadays, Dan. If you were part of the group, how would you have handled Dante after he was caught killing Siddiq? Would you ever trust him again, send him outside the walls, imprison him, kill him? What you're thinking? What have you deemed the safest method? You know, I've already answered this. I just realized it's the same question. But I will talk about it anyway. Once upon a time, I would have stood on the side of, you know, we've either got to imprison him or get rid of him. You know, a long time ago, I used to think, get rid of him, what's he going to do? But I've seen the effects of people we can't trust and them getting out and what that means and all that stuff. I've seen it, okay? So I've come a long way from super lenient Dan. Best thing for the group, someone who's manipulated us for 4 months. Someone that has killed our own, almost killed multiple of our own. No, he has killed multiple of our own. Risk everyone's life by contaminating the water. What do I think should be done to him? I would have killed him. For all I know, I don't know. I've never been in this scenario, but I envision myself here now. I envision myself having come as far as we've come. There's only one way I can think of safely dealing with it, especially about how much he knows. Unless the only other possible way that I think that he could have been safely released back into the world as if Alpha and her horde were gone. But you've got to think, from now until that time, how catastrophic could him be getting out? The whole point of him coming here was to learn, to cause chaos, watch us crumble, all this goddamn stuff. I would have killed him. I can't believe I say that, but I just... Would I ever trust him again? That, not a chance in hell. Let's just answer that first bit. No. Depending on how the situation with Negan goes, you know, like I find it's kind of crazy that I can seem to be trusting Negan again. But if Negan infiltrates this group and then kills someone, isn't that exactly the same thing? I don't even want to think about that. It is way too big of an... That's like the dark web of my brain. Let's leave that till we have a flashlight, till it's lit up a bit. Anyway, that is all the Beyond the Wall questions. So, do we have anything else we need to talk about? Charming Doctor's betrayal and murder. Do I think we've spoken enough about that? Obviously, it pissed me off. If you've guys seen the reaction, goddamn. If you haven't seen that reaction... Damn, why would you be watching this if you haven't seen the reaction? All of you will have seen that reaction. That is the most angry I've been in a long time. It also, like, it made me cry. I felt like all 4 seasons of emotions there. Just the fact that can happen after so long. The fact that he got in, breached all of our protocols, reminded us... it's crazy. It really is crazy. We've become such a big group, so confident in our ability. This is almost like a reminder of, like, nowhere is safe. There are smart people still alive in the apocalypse, you know. There are people that can breach those questions. There are people that can get in. There are people that are patient, meticulous, manipulative, evil, mentally unwell. I think is also another question with Dante. It's just, it really is, it is sickening to know that someone can be a part of this kind of group for so long. They're literally ingrown in what we do and what we believe in, and then just flip the switch. And then they're like, it's almost like the face just... This is what I'm saying though, you know when they put that skin mask on? I was saying this in a reaction like a couple weeks ago. I don't know how to look at them like humans when they've got that mask on. Like, I just forget that they were people beforehand. It's like it's the perfect disguise, you know, like you see them as animals. So he went from... like that, being someone that I felt like I could read, to being someone I didn't even think was a person. It's like he was wearing that mask without actually wearing it in the last days of his life. Like, I looked at him and I just saw... I saw Alpha. I even said this, I saw Alpha. I saw all what Alpha had done to him. And by the way, can I just say, this guy, he wasn't going to be granted no special trust or special place in Alpha's heart. Aww, that shit ain't happening. I don't even know what her plan was. I know she targeted someone, she manipulated someone, and she used someone, and now that they're dead, whoop-de-doo. She ain't gonna lose no sleep cares? You think she's going to be tossing and turning on her pillow tonight? No. She probably even knew he would die. She probably sent him in there thinking, you know what? At some point they're going to clock on. They're not dumb. As much as I can manipulate them and get into their little brains, you know, they have some kind of intelligence. She knew he'd go in there being caught eventually. She knew. Come on. So yeah, it's eye-opening, and it made me feel like I have to watch going like this now again. There was a while ago when I even said that I felt like watching The Walking Dead just kind of felt like this. Like your guard was always up. It always felt like tense, pain in the shoulders. You never know when you can relax, right? It's always, and I mean, the minute you do, this has made me feel like I can never relax again. Okay, let's cross that off. We don't need to talk about that D-hole anymore. Alpha's secret. If it came to a point when Alpha had the choice, she can keep Lydia alive, everyone's going to find out, and she can try and word her way out of it, or it feels like she's going to have to pick between Lydia being alive and Lydia. I had this theory that she would kill Lydia, turn her into a walker, so that she still got Lydia. I don't know how much she believes that they're actually them though, but then continue to do her work. Like I said, I think the most dangerous thing that can happen now is Alpha feeling like Lydia's gone, because it's sort of all bets are off. At least there's some readability with Alpha if Lydia's around, you know what I mean? But I don't know, maybe she eventually realizes that's her biggest weakness and she goes, I don't know, she kind of needs to do something about it. I don't know where that goes. Alpha is one of the hardest to read characters because I can't tell how far she'd go. You know, I don't know where the line is for her. But that secret, yeah, it's a goddamn dangerous secret. What that means going forward for Alpha could mean life or death, really. What it could mean so many different things. But it's leaching out now. Beta knows. We saw Beta's still loyal, but not all people are like Beta. I think she'll kill Gamma Ray. If she realizes she knows, I think she'll kill her. I don't think she'll keep her around. I don't even know why I wrote that, because I don't know what to say. Alpha's too hard to talk about. She's too hard to read, and she's too hard to explain. And the last one, Carol's recklessness. The last episode, the thumbnail was Carol, and there's a good reason for that, guys, because I felt like that was the most impactful part of the story. Carol can't bench her emotions, and I understand her and I sympathize with her. Who could? Okay, there are a lot. I don't even know if I could. Okay, this is why I'm not blatantly just flaming her. You know, if there is a part of me that feels like, what are you doing? Like you would have seen at the end of the last episode, but it's almost extinguished by this. I know why she's doing it. Me asking her to bench her emotions is the same as like me asking Maggie to not kill Negan. You know, that caused an issue in my brain. It caused a disruption. So I understand the stress. I get it. As long as Carol is acting like this, we are predictable. Let me just put it that way. Carol is the predictable part of the group right now, and I think Alpha is using that. There's a reason Alpha was out in that field. She knows that an emotional person is a predictable one. She knows how to read people. She knows the best state people. You know, this is why she's making us sick. This is why she's making us panic. This is why she's making us feel all these emotions, because she knows how to read us if we're sick. She knows how to read us if we're panicked. She knows how to read us if we are angry. She knows how to read us if we are... The list goes on. If we display these emotions, they're very basic human responses, okay? She gets them. She's using them to sort of move us like cattle. So as long as we're like that, we are readable. We are at risk. But how do you ask people to not be like that? You know, like obviously at this point in time, the best we can be is to be calm, collected, and is working as a whole. Right, thinking straight, working as a whole, being what got us here in the first place. That is the least readable we will be to Alpha. That will cause her the most discontent. Right now, we are sort of allowing her to map out her plan with little fuss. She knows what she's doing. It's stressful that Carol's going through this, because I just think about what this means impacting our chances. I used to think Carol would survive the whole thing, but there's even a little part of me that thinks that she won't now, you know. Wouldn't it be smart from Alpha to keep people like Carol alive? To keep letting them run around and do their thing and sort of run into her traps? Because if she kills all the people that are going to be emotional, that everything I just said it's gone. You know, I think she knows that. Hence why she didn't kill Siddiq. Siddiq was a message. Siddiq was put where he was put in order to convey the fear, to create the discontent, all of it. You know, she still needs those little markers. Carol is one of those markers right now. So it sucks. And I feel bad for Carol. I don't hate Carol. I know a lot of people will get really pissed off at Carol right now, but I understand what she's going through. 90% of characters that go through what she went through would be doing the same thing. I think the reason people get so frustrated with Carol is because, one, we got to see very little of her relationship with Henry and the upbringing, and it all kind of jumped forward. So And in my mind, sometimes it's still mind-blowing to think that Carol was a mother. So if we had seen, say, Rick, if Rick was the one doing this right now, I feel like people would be a lot more understanding and a lot more flexible in terms of their opinion on Rick in the moment, because we've seen it. If this was happening, if Judith got killed and this was Michonne, we would understand more. I think purely one of the biggest factors is we didn't see much of Henry and Carol. Do I have anything else to say about Carol? No, I just want people to, I want to stress my sympathy for her. I think that's the biggest thing. I want to stress it. I'm not sitting here enraged by her. Honestly, what can you do? Genuinely, I think we're an incredibly predictable group right now. That is what is stressing me out. So predictable. So right now I feel vulnerable because of our predictability. Our biggest asset will probably be Michonne and what Michonne's going to do, and because Alpha will have no idea what that is. She can't predict that. She doesn't know what that is. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Gosh almighty, what an intense Beyond the What. I genuinely feel like my vocal cords are starting to hurt because of how much I've been speaking. It's a good sign of a Beyond the What. But anyway, guys, don't forget that whole t-shirt thing I spoke to you guys about. Once we get the full name list, I'll put it on properly. But anyway, that is all from me, guys. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for new content every single week. And of course, follow the Instagram, Daniel Reed with 2 Ds. The Instagram links are in the description. I've updated them. I think they weren't working before. But yeah, guys, that's all from me. As ever, it's me, Dan. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.